ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः सभाय नमः। चेयरमैन रघुवीर जी, तनवर जी और हमारा चीफ गेस्ट सुरेश जी, मेरा प्रिय मित्र ओम जी और सभी मेरा फैमिली मेंबर्स हैं, तो हर एक को नमस्कार। In fact, I very much love to speak in Hindi, but I think Professor has given me some 40 minutes time. So I'm afraid while I am at home and speaking in Hindi, I think may take me for hours. So for his sake, I think I would be mostly on English and then less on Hindi. I'm so glad really because I'm here after a long time. Only because I love to see you. Most of the members of ICHR and also those who have been working here and we have also retired. It gives me great satisfaction because even at this age, I'm able to see you all and spend some time with you. And I'm also glad that the new generation has come up. Very happy to see them, the young people. And also, I don't find anybody old here because they all look young. Our Professor Sushmita ji is there, and our Khan ji is there, and mostly our R.S. Agarwal ji is there, and more so Shukla ji is there, and Shabij is also there. I was expecting Gopinath ji. He said he would come, but I think I'm not able to see him now. So all of us belong to one family, maybe with different ideas, maybe with different perspectives. But we all belong to one group and one family. Today is the 54th year of ICHR. बहुत बधाई ICHR के लिए, because it was a long desire. After 1947, for almost we have waited so many years, 30 years, 25 years and 30 years, to see that whether are we interested in writing our history. So ICHR is born in 1972 after a lot of effort. Who did what they did is something different, but ICHR has come. And today we are seeing so much of work being turned out in the ICHR. Every year something new is coming up. Something new about something old. That is strange. Even about the old, new things are coming up. So ICHR has become a good platform, academic platform, where so many seeds are sown, so many plants have come, so many are giving us fruits. And these fruits, again it's life. They are giving us the seeds, and again it's going into earth and bringing out new plants. So this is life. Life comes and goes, but new life emerges. So this life is a continuous life, and ICHR has been withstanding the pressures of the time, pressures of the people's ideas, pressures of the scholars' ideas, and somehow subsisting all the ideas, all the views, all the theories, all the perspectives. That is greatness of ICHR. That's why the ICHR must flourish, must go on, and we should all support it. So it was some time ago, because it is Foundation Day, in fact it should be a foundation lecture, isn't it? It was a problem to write history of the contemporary period. It's a problem every time. Anytime current history is a problematic one, because it holds different things. So it so happened that the government, the new government, the independent government, after winning the independence, it has become independent government. Of course, the government continued. The same government continues. Even now also, let chairmen go, come and go, but ICHR remains. So similarly, the government thought that it has become independent, and it was looking to write its own history, how it came up, how the independence has gone through. And for this, at least 2 or 3 great major efforts have been made by the government, made by those who are interested in writing history. They wanted to draft the thesis on history, its freedom struggle. At least to record the freedom struggle, it was become a difficult job. And K. Munshiji was there, and he could not do it, being in the government, very close to the government. Then he chose his own way of publishing history of Bharat. And later Tarachand tried to write history, particularly freedom history, and he could not do it. And the committee has to be formed first for on the project of writing freedom movement of India. So that is the origin, the impulse to establish ICHR has come up. Later, of course, it has taken the chairmen, several chairmen, very, very well-learned chairmen were there, scholars were there, and they have been guiding and shaping the organization, and it has come up to this age. So it was sometime in 20s, because we should remember those who have done something to ICHR. It so happened that a foundation day program was arranged in our office itself, in the open yard, and B.B. Lal was giving the foundation day lecture. And for the first time he opened, because it was 21. M.G.S. Narayanan was the chairman, particular chairman. At that time, the B.B. Lal was giving the foundation day lecture, and he was referring to the Indus Valley civilization, and he was, first time, he pointed out that the Indus figurines, the lady figurines, you will find some sort of sindoor on their forehead. So that was the first time. And later he worked on that, and many people have been working on ancient India, and also archaeology has grown so much, and our President K.K. Khanji is also very well known on the excavations done at ICHR. So such work has been turned out in the ICHR for the past 50 years. And along with the ICHR, those who have seen the working of ICHR from the earliest days. And we have one P.K. Shuklaji here. While ICHR was born in 72, he joined ICHR in 73. 53, 73, I'm sorry, 73. 52 years or 53 years he has been with ICHR, and he has been through so many things. And for all major time, he was officiating the member secretary. आप खड़े रहिए ना, आपको ग्रीटिंग्स देंगे हम. आप आए. Shukla ji was very active in those times. And there were I am speaking of the members and the chairman, because chairmans come and go and then attend meetings. But it is the people who stay in ICHR, like Omji, who does the work, who sees through, supervises the things being done. So similarly, Shabi ji, he was so active. He is always active, but he doesn't look active. No, he is a young man. No, I didn't say he is an old man. And Shukla ji is also not old. He doesn't accept it. Oh, of course. So Shabi ji was in charge of functions and all that, seminars, and he was holding everything. We call him master of ceremonies or something. It so happened in 91, I remember, when I came to ICHR for help, financial help for the holding the conferences. Shukla ji was there, and then the member secretary was MGS Narayanan. Narayanan was MGS. Irfan ji was the chairman, and I was pestering them to give me some grant to hold the conference. Because they say they express their helplessness. There is no provision for giving any funds to the Congress. Any conference, no academic conference, no funds were being given to the conferences. And we were discussing so long. And they only said, it's only the government could sanction the grant. The ICHR cannot do anything, because ICHR, its objectives, and they were not redefined, and there was so many problems with them. Financially, they have not getting any grant from the government except for the freedom struggle. There was only one grant. That was project given to the ICHR. ICHR was born on that. So they didn't have any grants. So they were helpless, and they were. But I was pestering them. The evening, it so happened Shabi ji came up there, and they were discussing about how to get the funds from the government. So it's possible only if you give a memorandum to the Honorable Minister of Education. I think he may grant. So, but Honorable Education, so how to get his interview? Is it possible? How can we wait? So it takes a long time, and I have to go back to my place. And Shebiji said, "Don't worry, sir, I will take you." So that was the member of working in the ICHR. He took the lead, and he said, "Evening you be ready, sir, ready, I will take. If he is there in the office, not in the office, even if it is at home, I will take you." So in a car we went. Yeah, almost gate crashed the minister's residence, and he came from a long tour, and he was just relaxing at the time, taking coffee. And we entered into his drawing room, gave him the memorandum. He didn't ask anything, we didn't explain anything. He simply said, being minister, look into it. Generally, that would be the reply from the ministers, look into it. So we came back. And then I took a train, because we had to travel by train at the time to my place. It was usually taking 36 hours to reach Warangal. 36 hours to reach Warangal. And I was in the train. And when I got down at the place and on the platform, the people were looking for me. What happened? I said, "No, the Vice Chancellor is very panicked and he is looking for you." "Why should he look for me?" No, he is looking for you. We are searching for you. Because in those days, we don't have this mobiles and all that. So nobody knows where I have gone. So they were worried about me. And immediately I rushed to see the Vice Chancellor. And he was saying, sir, I'm looking for you. Where did you go? Because what happened, sir? Panically, he was saying, no. We have got a telegram from the ministry. It has come from the minister. What is that? It was a telegraphic transfer in those days. 6 lakhs have come to the Department of History. Only on the second day, minister said only, I look into it. Shabiji was there, he took us there. In the morning, the telegraphic transfer has come and they wanted the acceptance from the Vice Chancellor. And he was looking for me what to answer. What was the conference? He doesn't know anything. So that is how the work was taking up in the ICHR. The things have moved. Of course, some things might not have moved. That's a different case. But still, the things which have been moved have the energy of the power, the spirit of the power that works up. So we should remember those who have served, not only these two, but there are so many others in the ICHR who have been working for the past 54 years. For them, we express our gratitude. Yeah? So, many happy returns to ICHR, many years to go, and it should go into the eternity, as our topic also related to eternity. Fine? I won't take, I have taken almost half my time, which is given to me, but I requested him, the president of the meeting, to give me some more time, sir, because these 20 minutes I only spoke about ICHR. So now, I take my time. You also take your own time. Those who are in a hurry, they can move. And those who can stay, they can stay. And those who are not interested, they can go and have a nap. Sit and have, they can sit and also take nap after. It is a post-lunch session. And I would be very happy if some of you take sleep. And if some of those who are waking, they can think anything what you like. But the topic is not that serious one to allow you to go or take a nap. When OMG called me and said that, sir, you are coming for the foundation day. That's fine. I will be very happy with you. I said I would come. But he added a rider for that. Sir, you have to speak on the occasion. On the occasion, I love to speak because all are my friends. That's fine. But he said, sir, you have to, I think, you have to give the talk and the text. The text is a problem all the time. Sushmita ji, it's a very big problem because you are the general editor of the journal. You know how difficult it is. Text is a problem. But he is very kind. He said, sir, the time is too short, of course, I'm sorry. You can, you need not send text if it's not possible for you. But if you speak, it's okay. So speaking is okay for me. But what should I speak on the occasion, remembering the objectives of the ICHR, because I have seen through its coming and passing through decades and going to live in eternity with eternity, what should I contribute to it? As chairman, I was thinking so many things. Everybody thinks so many things. Everybody has his own plans. Many plans are there. But when I was made chairman, there was huge acknowledgement from the press and also from the TV shows. Some people came to Warangal and then they wanted to put my face into their frames. I don't know. I don't think till then ICHR was known so much outside, except for the freedom struggle. So I don't know. And when I joined Gopinath was the member secretary. He was so kind to me. He received me well. And then he put me in the chair. And the following day, I have seen the papers saying that, he is not a serious scholar. How could he become the chairman? So these were the negative comments appearing in the national press. And great esteemed Professor Romela Thapar, she also commented that I have not seen him in any academic circles. So that was her comment. It's true that I was not a very serious scholar, true that I have not written much on history. Maybe true in her eyes. But she said the one thing I was not happy with her, in the sense that she said, I don't know him, I have not seen him anywhere, but she has seen me on so many times and so many occasions. I also was there in the conferences. And in one of the conferences, I was hosting that. But still she said that. That's okay because of so many ideas, their perspectives, they might. Because I was appointed soon after the swearing in ceremony of our Priyatam Nayak, Modi ji. He was taking the office in May, and I was appointed in June, and I was joining in July because I was not in India at that time. That's how it happened. Because, that was one problem for our scholars to divide on the perspectives. Scholars should not divide on the perspectives. Because I was very close in all the circles. And Bipin Chandra, Panikkar, and all these people, they know me, they know my work. But I have not done on ancient on archaeological things, that I have not done anything. So that's how it happened. So since then, what happened? In 1991, somewhere, again a great surprise came about me. That, I was selected national professor by the UGC. It was a great honor for me. Because in that proposal, I was looking for the ancient history. Though I have been very comfortable in modern history, but I was looking for the sources of history, because sources of history are less available in India and mostly available in foreign countries. So when we were in the office, we also have this project in ICHR to do something, collecting the material from outside, but it involved into a lot of funds to send research scholars to different countries. So that was a problem. And sir, when I went to Belgium, I found that in Belgium there is bundles of sources of history, particularly ancient history. And when I inquired there, they said, in Netherlands we have a lot of material. Because these were the people who first came to India. And in 15th century, they have collected a lot of material. There's a lot of material there. We generally think in Germany, and then we look in France and other places. But in the Netherlands and other places, Portugal and other places, lots of material on ancient history is available. So this I have surveyed also to some. And that was my project theme when I was working with the UGC under the National Fellowship. So that was the beginning, where, I have left the modernities. I turned myself into the ancient. So that was one reason where she might have said that no, I was not found in her circles. No, I didn't. I was not there in her circles. So this proposal, is born in 90s, and then it has been going through. It so happened when I was chairman, as I told you earlier, Professor B.B. Lal, he was giving this lecture, giving different interpretations to the Indus Valley finds. And then I was very much interested. So when I met him, he was not keeping quiet. He was doing a lot of work again, and he is looking into the Gangetic Plain. And he said he is working on Gangetic Plain. There is one retired archaeologist with him, his assistant, who worked as his assistant earlier. And with his help, he is doing something, because he could not go by himself physically. So he was using his services. Then I said, we should have a fellowship. Such a fellowship where we should bring in the tradition of old ancient Gurukul. So there should be a guru. He should be assisted by one or two assistants of his choice, so that they can be very comfortable with him, and the project should go. Agarwalji was also there at the time. So this was mooted then, and then the Gurukul fellowship has come up. My council at that time has favored me with all my proposals, whether they are good or bad, whatever it may be, because they gave me the full confidence. So that way the Gurukul fellowship has come. And there was one, Professor Nagarajan from South. He was an archaeologist, very famous archaeologist. Sir Khanji, he was archaeologist, but he was well-versed Vedic scholar. Very much Vedic scholar. He's a very good Vedic scholar, traditionally also a scholar. So he tried to interpret archaeology, taking the help of the Vedic literature, because that is the problem with the archaeology, Indian archaeology. I don't speak of archaeology elsewhere. In Indian archaeology, the problem is archaeologists are not familiar with the Indian literature. You can go to Deccan College, where you find the mix of these two. The best thing comes up out of Baroda, and also from Pune. So these things are coming up because all the Shastras are there, already ready-made Shastras are there in the ancient times. You need not add anything to Shastra. Shastra is complete and perfect. So we have to take only help from the Shastras, and archaeology should be interpreted in that way. Suppose a simple example, there was one professor from Banaras, Professor Varmaji. So he gave an article, and that was published in ICHR journal, wherein he said the Indus Valley dancing figure need not be said, it should not be interpreted as a dancing girl, because the Vedic Indus Valley civilization has come up only because of the Westerners' effort. Archaeology, they were only Western archaeologists. European archaeologists, they have interpreted because they have seen the figure and then they said she is in a dancing pose, so she is a dancing girl. Whenever we say dancing girl, so we have so many things attached to the social status of the girl. But he first referred that we have Pashupati already, and when Pashupati, we relate him to Shiva, so this Shiva's Nataraja, so she must be Parvati. Could be, because this is from Indian interpretation, from the Indian archaeologist. That is from the Western. Westerns look at the particular physical things and they say she is in a dancing pose, so she's a dancing girl. So that such interpretations were there in archaeology. And this has to, now what we mean by new archaeology, in new archaeology also we have to think of first when they are going into a particular country, going to the Egypt, you should have the mythology of the Egypt and the ancient culture. You should know the culture of the Egypt, and then you should start. Because somebody from US archaeologist, he interested in Egypt, doing something and bringing out something. So this was the problem. So I have not come to the purpose of the paper so far. Why do you keep it this? Who is there? Here? Okay. I should do it myself. Wonderful. So I can skip so many things. So now you might be very much confused because so far I have not entered into the purpose of my paper. Because I don't have a paper, I don't have a purpose. I have given you an abstract. Generally, abstract should be some 10 lines or 8 lines. Or, it's a very crispy, so that you will not understand anything. So that is about abstracts. But you know, I asked my friends to publish my abstract. That's not possible because I have not given them sufficient time. At least I said, you know, give the printouts to the members so that they can at least when they are going out, it works as a takeaway thing. Otherwise, you know, if somebody asks, what did you hear there? What was the lecture on? I don't know what was the topic was. And you do not know what you have learned from me or heard from me. And so there would be a big zero when you go out. So you should carry something with you. Shabiji? So that's why I have given a copy. I said no, abstract generally are not circulated. But now I asked him to circulate the abstract so that at least they will have, they can read again. Whenever somebody asks you, they can read the title and say. So the purpose is, of course, nothing, because we are speaking of nothing. Since we are speaking of nothing, the purpose is nothing. So the purpose is nothing and there is subject is nothing. What happens to the study of history? What happens to its publications? How they are coming up? So this is the major question to us. To any common man, it need not be a scholar. In a common man has this problem. What is history? Because we have already books on that. What is history? So now that did not answer us well. So we will look again, what is history? So every generation looks to history. Mars has gone 300 years ago. Hope's has gone 500 years ago. And Aristotle, Plato, they have also gone some 2000 years ago. But everybody said something. And everybody, they were very much accepted in their generation. And now Mars is not accepted by all. Things happen like that. So similarly, the major problem with us that in the entire world has a different, varied civilizational patterns. Tradition, as I said, you know, a European scholar cannot interpret an archaeological artifact in India. Similarly, it happens when you are speaking of China, speaking of Belgium, or speaking of US, I think you will be very irrelevant there. That is the problem. So, civilizational tradition, to understand the tradition, is very important to us before we go into the study of history. That is the first dictum. Unless you know about the civilization, unless you know about Bharat customs, traditions, and its literature, its philosophy, its shastras, unless you know that, if I start writing something about Bharat, how does it look? So this is the first dictum, that you know, a requirement, a major requirement, that first you learn about the country first when you are going to write about history. And the second problem is, what is the nature of history? Here again, okay, I know about the tradition, but when I want to put it into history, what kind of history should I write? What exactly does history mean? And we have meta-history also that speaks about the nature of the history. But you know, a historian doesn't accept meta-history. These are the problems. So when we are looking at the history, does history exist by itself? Is the question. Does history has its own base? This is a major question. Why? Because what is history? Which one has history? And for having history, you should have past. You must be having past. But have you learnt about your past? To look into the past, you should have abilities to go to what extent you can look into the past. That's where we look for archaeology. But now, is it final that what archaeology says is our past? There is astronomy. Now we call it archaeoastronomy, we say. Just now today I have seen in the news that our solar system is not alone in our galaxy. There are twins of solar system. It also looks like solar system. And there are things which look like this that you can find in the other galaxies. So many galaxies. So this kind of history, when you are looking at history, history can record itself. History cannot record itself. Do you have history? Only the one which has the matter and also consciousness. Both should be mixed up. Unless you are conscious of your existence, you cannot think of history. That is history. History is not material. History is consciousness. You become historically conscious. You are conscious of your past. That gives you history, because history is a shadow of the existing matter. It's only a shadow. This shadow appears only when there is light outside. So the light should fall on the matter, and then matter gets an existence. And when the matter gets an existence, so it should fall, its shade falls on the other side. Other side must also be concrete one, a matter. So if it is not a matter, where does the shade fall? Because you are on the earth against the sun. The sunlight is coming to you, and a shade appears there. So unless you are conscious of existence, these two things are important. Existence is only consciousness. If you are conscious of your existence, then you will have a shade behind. If that is going to be, that shade is recorded. That is going to be recorded. That recorded shade is going to be history. So history by itself doesn't have any nature. It is calm and quiet. Shade, does it come and fight with you? Does it talk to you? So it is silent. So similarly, when it is silent, it is not talking to you. So whatever you write as history is not speaking to you. Like God. You can pray God, you can scold God. You can also say there is no God. But still, God doesn't react. Similarly, history also doesn't react. So that could be the nature of history, which has to be understood well before we proceed with doing something on history. And the next is what I said, dharma and jnana. Dharma and jnana comes with what you call your existence. If you are existing, then you have to conducting something. When you are conducting in a right way, you will be called dharmic. If you are conducting in a different way, you are called adharmic. There is nothing like dharma and adharma. It's only how you conduct yourself. Suppose, for example, if you take, because we have plenty of examples from our ancient literature. Suppose Ravana is there. Ravana is, if he is at its place, he is not bad. But when he interferes with others' job, then you judge whether it is right or wrong. When a man sits at his place and does his own work, we are not concerned with him. We are worried only when he comes to our table and disturbs us. So that is something adharmic. So there is nothing dharma. Dharma is if a thing, if it is in its place, if it is doing well, it's okay. Because anything, there is nothing like good thing or bad thing. Anything is a thing. And if it is in its place, it is good thing. If it is in others' place, it's bad thing. So that kind of conduct is going on because the sun is there, moon is there, and so many stars are there, and millions, billions of stars are there. But they are at their place. They are not disturbing us. So they are following a dharma. That's what we call Sanatana Dharma. Similarly, knowing that they are doing their job and we should be conscious of our own job, that is a right thing, a right approach, for which we call Sanatana Dharma in Bharat understanding. So we say that you should do your job. You should be mindful of your job. And for that, you should have jnana. The jnana tells you that you should do your job. If you are doing your job, you should know how to do that job. When you know how to do that job, you have to know about others' jobs and your job. So this kind of jnana is the prerequisite to follow dharma. When you are following dharma, you are taken to a place where you should go. Today, we are seeing so many reports from, scientific reports from coming up. Today, I have seen that the sun is moving. Moving from where? Moving from his galactic center. He is moving from galactic center to different way. And the galaxy doesn't stay there. Galaxy is also moving. So galaxy should have a center to maintain its gravity. Sun is having its own center of sun to move itself. And everything in the world have their own line to move. And they are only fixed lines. They move. So they always follow their dharma. When they are not able to move, they disappear. We also work and we disappear. I was there for some time in ICHR, I am not there for now. So this happens, so the individual or the galaxies or the suns or moons or stars, they are there, they are not there. So this kind of thing is going on when, how it should move when they are moving, they are in their own circles, then what you should do, know that what you have to do. So that is the method. So these are all interrelated, interconnected, and almost they are all at one place. The what you call knowing the nature of the history. Nature of history should be understood in the dharmic and jnana, backed by jnana, and then you should formulate, because when you are following dharma, you will be know how to live. So our people have so many principles to how to live. So this knowledge has been given to us from much ancient times, you don't know. But when we are looking about the antiquity, we come to the very big question. When did it start? For some, it might have started some 4,000 years ago. But archaeology says millions of years ago also we had it. And geology gives us a lot of information about the life of the earth, life of this planet, life of the sun and the galaxies. So when we are counting these ages, these ages is flabbergastus. And this understanding we have developed through so many ages, through so many philosophers, and now when we come to actual working of history, how it has been worked out. So where we have, I very quickly go through this. We have traditions in Eastern Europe first, and then Egypt and West Asia put together. All this is grouped under one. And we have seen that the early history, according to the present dictums of history, because it has started only with the Greek writings. We have also found some writings in Egypt and also in the other areas, particularly the Babylonian, Assyrian were also found. Some literature, some sort of information is available about, but all of them take us only to 4,000 years or 5,000 years BC. So is this history only for 6,000 years? According to our, and this we are not considering as history. This we can take as travelogues or this or that. And till late in the 18th and 19th centuries, we have come to the disciplines like history, physics, science. So many things have come up. Then it's not that the new knowledge has come up. The knowledge has been decided into different branches. And that branches have grown into basic disciplines. And then they have become, specialities have come up in the branch, and interdisciplinaries have come. And super specialties have also come in those subjects. So this is going up. And in the, particularly in the case of India, Indian history, we think that, it has come only through Indica, because that's the earliest, even Indica is not found, but some ramblings there about Indica has been found. And so we say that the second phase, these Greek writings about India have come up. And in the earlier Greek writings also, we have some information about Greece. And the difference between these two, for Alexander's invasion and then the other foreign writings about India, is other foreign writings were only about trade and commerce mostly, and also those people who have come into their contact. So they might have written something about what was the people and what was this. And that was only trade and commerce, basically trade and commerce associated with some information about the people and land. Second, we have the is only foreign observers' travelogues. And then during Alexander invasion, this has given a great flip, because it was with Alexander, because Alexander, we consider that Alexander is the first invader of India. So when he invaded, since then, I think the new writings have come about India, because he brought some scholars with him. And when he appointed his governors here, some scholars have come here as envoys and magazines like that. They have written this. So when they have come here, they have not come for commerce, but they have come to know about the administration people. So this was mostly political and administrative histories have come with after Alexander's invasion. This is the second phase of history, because history has been shading its objectives. And then we had limits of early historiography where we can access these traditions, history, and these things have come up slowly. And that was the fourth stage when we think of ancient history in its light. So this is basically how the history has been growing. The history of Western style is growing in our country. So in other traditions, we have when we have the Greek and Egypt and Eastern Europe's perspectives of history, the second thing that we find is take the Chinese as first thing, because Chinese have the earlier ancient traditions. They have a lot of literature with them, but this literature is not going to help us in identifying their historical trends, mostly. And the Muslims have, with their invasions, they have brought again their own writers to write about their eulogies. In their eulogies, whatever the information is available about their government and about their interaction with the local people, that is only found with the Muslim writers. This was also a political. From Alexander, it started with the Muslims. It was started in Alexander's time, developed in the Muslim time, and here we have started to have court historians. Even in the Mughal period, we have only court historians. So this is a new trend. A second phase has come. Earlier it was trade and commerce. Later it came up in the form of political history. And so even when the Europeans have come, so we have continued the same political history. And a balanced assessment could not be found here, because here people do not appear. Their major mover has been the government major more has been the ruler, a particular ruler being the government. So when we are looking into Bharati history, Bharat looks different because Bharati history cannot come under these two things. They have not invaded any place, first thing. Second thing, they did not go for might have gone for the trade, but they were not giving us any information about the trade or about any other aspect with regard to the people of that particular region. We were not very much interested because we were always exporting things, getting less from the other places. So we do not find much information about the history of the other places where our traders have gone. So we were mostly basically interested in trade, and we pursued trade, commerce, and then we were benefiting it. So the problem where it comes up is because we have been looking not for history, because as history, as we said, it's only a shade. So then we were looking about our philosophy, spirituality, science, and literature. These are the public domain principles which govern our life. So we have been developing these areas, these 4 areas being developed here, and we were only looking for these particular aspects. All our ancient literature can be grouped in any of these aspects. Maybe a spiritual book, maybe a Shastric science, or maybe a Kavya. Which Kavya? That Kavya which speaks of Dharma, how the Dharma was administered. So these are the major thrusts of all our literature. So that's why in our literature we do not find the thing like history as viewed by historians, the present historians. The modern historians do not view this as a history, because we are not speaking of the money, we are not speaking of the invasions, we are not speaking of these things, because we don't have any invasions, and we didn't write anything for commerce. We were not interested in all these things. So this is how our history particularly should have its own nature. It has its own nature, and the major thrust of history of our ancient civilizations were these 4 aspects, and this should govern the history. So this should form into history. History does not come as itself, but it should come on the existence of what is there, because you write about the existing things, not about the other things. So this is a material history, what exists in Bharat, because as we take it as that when we are writing history, we should be positive to ancient literature that we have developed, and our trial how to live what was said. So what was said was Dharma, how we were living the Dharma, whether we failed in Dharma or we have been successful in Dharma, that is written by the history. History does not take any sides. For example, you take Ramayana or you take Mahabharata, they have not taken any sides. They have